So for example, if you are spending about 2,000 rupees, you can end up saving like 500 bucks on that bill. The South market and the East market is a challenge, not just for Eazydiner, but for the entire category. Right? So for example, let's say on Zomato, you'll have like 5-6 credit card offers. Here you'll have some 45. There is this prevalent behavior that why would I spend 500 bucks on something that I can make at home? In Delhi, it's not there so much.
Wherever there's a dominant language,
go local.
So the 4 states in South, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka all behave very differently. If you have a business problem which you think we can solve and you are open to discussing that business in public, give us a shout. We're happy to have you here.
Welcome to yet another episode of this living room, where we're going to talk about marketing, advertising, people, a little bit of trauma dumping, I guess.
Influencers.
And influencers. But we've spoken about influencers. Yeah. So we won't speak about influencers today.
Are you thinking about this on the fly? What are we talking about?
No, I've thought it through.
Are you sure? Is this the same topic that we just discussed or is it something else? I don't know. With you, anything is possible, but...
No, it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to do a segment called Help Me Out Here. Where essentially, so by now you know that Adi runs a business, I run a business, and in a business often there are problems, right? Not problems, but stuff that you could use another brain on. So that's essentially what we're going to do.
Let's call them growth opportunities.
Growth opportunities.
Like consulting language.
Growth opportunities for who?
The business that you're trying to solve this for.
Okay, so I have a problem. One of my clients, Eazydiner. You know what Eazydiner does, right? It's a discounting app, right? So when you're going out to eat at a restaurant, you book your table on Eazydiner, and Eazydiner has the maximum tie-ups with credit cards, right? So if you think of any credit card, that credit card is going to have a great offer on Eazydiner, right? So it's very useful if you have credit cards. If you don't have any, like me, I just have HDFC credit card. It's not that useful for me. But if you have like ICICI, then Standard Chartered, and then Indus Bank,
Amex,
and this and whatever. So you get crazy offers. How big are these offers? Significantly big. So for example, if you are spending about 2,000 rupees, you can end up saving like 500 bucks on that bill, right? If you book your table on and pay on Eazydiner. Most of India know about Eazydiner, right? So the Delhi market, the Bombay market, the metropolitan. So let's say the top metropolitans, no problem at all. People know, people are using, revenue is good, not a problem. The South market and the East market is a challenge, not just for Eazydiner, but for the entire category. The entire eating out, which means that Zomato, what's that thing called? Zomato eat out. No, Zomato what? What's the thing inside Zomato? Dine out.
Dine in.
Whatever it's called.
Dine in, yeah.
Yeah. So Zomato,
Swiggy. I don't know whether Swiggy has it. Swiggy also has it. No, I think they have it.
Swiggy also has restaurants? Anyway, so again, it's a category challenge. One way to fix this would be to communicate
hold on. So you're saying that the overall category in South
and the East
is
significantly lower than the metropolitans.
Okay. Then North and the markets in North and West, like metro, non-metro put together, North and West. As in smaller meaning what? Do they have lesser number of users? As a percentage? Absolute?
Lesser number of users.
In absolution? Overall category.
Overall category.
Okay. And what is the promise of Eazydiner? As in, what is the proposition? Is it a reservation?
Dine out, save big.
And how is it different from Zomato or Swiggy?
Savings.
So savings are also there on Zomato and
Swiggy? but better savings.
Okay. So the value prop is reserve with us and get more savings.
Not only reserve with us and pay on the app.
Yeah. There also you have to pay on the app. Yeah. Reserve, pay on the app, get better savings.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this value prop is the same, all pan-India.
Fair. And it's also the same by competition. So fundamentally, there's no differentiation between...
There's no differentiation.
Okay. And we are saying...
Differentiation is in the credit cards, which is why you end up saving more.
So So there's more depth here because this is their core business. Versus for Zomato, this is like a part, a sliver of the business.
Right? So for example, let's say on Zomato, you'll have like 5-6 credit card offers. Here you'll have some 45. So that's the...
So depth is the difference, right? If you're looking for a specialized solution, you'll go here. But if you if you have Zomato and you just book once, you'll get, if you get an offer, you get an offer, right? As in that kind of deal. Okay, got that. So we'll come to comms later. But Do you have some sense of what the market share is between Zomato, Swiggy, and
No,
Eazydiner?
I don't have that number.
Okay, so let's assume, and I'm making these assumptions, right? So see, there are two ways the brand can grow, and then we'll address the comms, because first we need to know how the brand will grow, right? So let's say that the market share of Eazydiner within the markets in South and East is sitting at under 50%, right? So and which is very likely to be the case because the overall penetration of Zomato and Swiggy there will be higher, and hence the usage of the dine-in facility within them by default will become higher, right? If someone
You're talking about the East and the South market.
I think nationally also that will be the case because if I'm already a user of Swiggy and Zomato, it's very unlikely or very few percentage of people will download another app just for a dine-in opportunity, right? So
I used to think like that. That's actually not based on what it currently is, because this deal hunter population is massive in India.
I'm sure. But absolute numbers
they will download an app. It's not a problem.
Yeah, but still absolute numbers, right? I suspect the absolute number of dine-in transactions that a Zomato gets must be higher than Eazydiner, even in core markets, even in North and West. That's my suspicion.
Okay.
Yeah, because the base is much higher, right? And I don't know. And we can, I'm sure you can ask around within the Eazydiner team, which will tell you at least app download numbers, right? And overall transaction numbers. My sense is that Zomato will still get more absolute volume, right? Now, if the market share is under 50% in those markets, I would first say that, okay, I don't want to do category creation just yet. There is some traction and some gains to be had in just taking share from competition, right? And I would go down that path first because that's the lowest hanging fruit. Having said that, I would also, given that the market size is small, and if you are the one who's building the market, you reap maximum benefits, right? And it could probably also happen that overall transactions of Zomato and Swiggy also go up because people have already downloaded.
Correct.
Right? So that would be stage 2. And I would still mount, let's say if I have 100 rupees to spend on media, I would mount a 20 rupee campaign, 20% of that budget into long-term category creation. But initially I would go behind getting share from Zomato and
how would you do that?
Swiggy. So I don't know. As in, you tell me, as in, if there's some understanding around consumer, which is why are people choosing Zomato? Why are people choosing Swiggy? Why are people not choosing?
The information that we have is that it's not about choosing Zomato versus choosing Eazydiner. The numbers suggest that, okay, let's say that all things being equal, let's say there are 100 people in Calcutta and there are 100 people in Delhi, right? Out of 100 people, 20 people are eating out. Forget about eating out on Eazydiner. 20 people are eating out versus 60 people, whatever, 70 people eating out in Delhi. It's not an Eazydiner Zomato split. 20 people are eating out only. How do I increase that? How do I increase the number of people eating out? That's the problem to solve for.
So we are now getting into a zone of saying that you want to fundamentally shift people's behavior.
Behavior, correct.
Right? And very hard to do because food is not a novel concept, right? As in people have been eating food since forever.
Yeah.
And culturally, how people interact with food is something which is very deeply ingrained, right? And like you were mentioning offline, that there is a certain belief that home cooked food is a large part of the consumption experience in South and East. Versus North and West. I doubt that from whatever little anecdotal evidence I have, especially in the South, right? As in, I haven't traveled around East so much, but every time I go to the South.
See, the behavior suggests that, and you've traveled enough. Both of us have traveled enough, right? That there is this prevalent behavior that why would I spend $500 on something that I can make at home? But that in Delhi is not there so much. In Bombay, it's not there so much.
Okay, so that's an interesting piece. So that can become one leg, right? So now you're talking about something interesting. Now, families have certain speciality in food, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, like for example, and let's take the obvious example. Somebody living in Calcutta, most families would be very
Bengali
good
food.
at cooking Bengali food, right? Now, if you really had to expand the category, right, then you go down the path of introducing new cuisines, right? And then what you do is that, because then you don't have functional expertise in cooking that at home, if this is the barrier, right? And again, I don't know, and I'm taking your word for what the consumer barrier is. And if this is the consumer barrier, which is saying that, hey, if you offer me Bengali food, I can do it better at home. Then you don't offer the person Bengali food, right? Then you offer the person Italian, and then you offer the person North Indian. Then you offer...
No, but these restaurants are already there. It's not that Calcutta doesn't have these restaurants. These restaurants are already there. I mean, similar to the Chennai market or the Hyderabad market.
Yeah.
There are enough and more Italian restaurants. There are enough and more Chinese restaurants.
Sure.
Right? But the numbers are still staggeringly low.
No, so again, there are two parts, right? So restaurant being there.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's look at this, right? A restaurant. So you have to first understand what the real problem is. If there are multiple of these restaurants and if they are already in business, there is some percentage of the population which wants to eat this food.
Correct.
Right? Otherwise, they would have gone out of business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, is this that these people still have an awareness challenge saying that I don't know Eazydiner exists and I could have booked via Eazydiner and the meal which cost me $1,500 would have costed me $1,000, right? That could be one problem, right? If there is a large number of non-Bengali eating joints where people physically go and eat, then it's an awareness challenge, right? And then you just have to keep bombarding the message saying every time you want to eat an Italian meal, here's Eazydiner, save 30% off on your bill, right? You're a family of 6, you go out and it costs you a ton of money. Here's Eazydiner, save 30%, and then you keep building campaigns which put memory structures in place around different cuisines, right? And then what you would do is you would take a top-down approach, right? Saying that, okay, non-Bengali, hit me with a list of the top 100 restaurants from a dine-in standpoint, right? And then you cluster them into cuisines. Okay, I'm assuming that Chinese and Asian will be a big one in Calcutta, right? That because Chinatown and all of that, right? And then you start building messaging, right? And where you reinforce the message every time I want to go out and have Chinese food, book via Eazydiner, right? So that's one problem to solve. And then the question is Eazydiner awareness doesn't exist. Okay. So then you are solving for awareness problems of Eazydiner, that Eazydiner is the solution for me. Where
do you think language could be a barrier?
Meaning communicate in regional language?
Yeah.
Okay. So what language does is the following, right? Language gives you access to different consumers. Okay? And especially with latest algorithmic updates, if there are a bunch of consumers where their predominant consumption language is a regional language over English in the content they consume, if your advertising is in English, the probability of your advertising hitting them becomes lower. Okay, because again, platforms are optimizing for content consumption, right? And it opens access to new audiences. So you should definitely, like in these markets, wherever there's a dominant language,
go local.
Go local for sure, right?
I wonder if other brands are doing that.
Oh, a lot of brands are doing that now. Regional content, like at least in the D2C space, has become fairly big, right? And because of like Andromeda and all these updates on Meta, at least, regional language is becoming fairly big. As in, you can't do without it. You can't have like an English ad and just keep running it across the country. So language, but coming back, right? So that could be one problem to solve for, and you can test out both these hypotheses, right? Saying that people eat out, people are aware that there are these bunch of restaurants across different cuisines which exist.
Yeah, otherwise restaurants would have shut down.
Exactly, right? So that's the most obvious answer. The other answer could be that there is not enough curiosity to explore new cuisines, right? So there's a limited set of people who go to these restaurants, right? But a large majority...
But that's not really the brand's problem, no?
No, but if you have to build category, right? Again, now we are talking about changing people's fundamental eating behavior, right? Category creation happens like that. Brands which expand categories change how people interact, right? So, like
for example, in East Market, you would have 90% of the population eating either Bengali food or Chinese food. You'll barely find people eating like Italian and stuff. They don't care.
But see, that's
so are you saying that get people to eat the other stuff?
Yeah. So that is a very interesting marketing problem to solve, right? Now imagine, and let's take Italy. Like let's take Italian as one of the cuisines which, and you have to have enough density of Italian restaurants across different price ranges, etc., right? Let's say Calcutta has all of that available, right? Then you start status signaling with Italy, right? That Italy, going to Italy, traveling to Italy, Italian food means this, means that. And you start building comms around that, right? Where association with Italy and Italian food.
So this is category creation. This is not helping Eazydiner.
It will be. So your brief was category creation, right? You're saying not enough people, irrespective of the market, use category. Now, and you should actually simultaneously do both these, right? One, the reinforcing message of every time you go out to eat Italian food, and let's take, and you can kind of sequentially test this out, right? How many cuisines will be there, right? You'll probably, so North Indian cuisine you'll test out.
Yeah.
You'll test out South Indian cuisines.
Yeah.
Okay. You'll probably test out Italian and Asian.
Cafe kind of food. Like
Cafe food, right? So you have 5 cuisines, right? Pick one big one and pick one big one where you can have some cultural hooks, right? Like what travel does with Europe, right? So Mukhabara, right? A bunch of the Mukhabara campaigns, not that they were saying anything, but the influencers who they were using were traveling in Europe, and it was like a European summer and all of that, right? So if you can find some aspirational hooks, which you can build comms in, you can probably take one as an example and test out both these levers, right? On one side, you can build out interesting campaigns which solve for every time you want to eat Italian food, book on Eazydiner. On the other side, every time you want to eat non-Bengali food, Italian should be your first choice, right? Which is the category creation side of this. And here I'm going to throw you a very interesting creative problem, right? Now, if you take both these, and if you can mount a common campaign which has both these pillars, right? And like you find some angle which is Italy centered, which is your core campaign idea, and part of the comms is around this piece, which is eat Italian every time.
I mean, Italy could be whatever. I mean,
so we are assuming Italy, right? Because Italian food.
Yeah.
Right, and you mount one part of it, and it all sinks into one single campaign, right? That will become super interesting because the comms will keep compounding, right? You can do multiple communication, which is like make Italian food super cool and aspirational, right? And propensity of eating out will be in the 25 to 40 kind of TG, right? So you can do many. So if you take that TG. And you cut
it different ways, basically.
But you link it to a single larger campaign thought, and then you start, and like for example, and I don't know how much money you can spend on this, right? But let's say if you know certain local content creators based out of Calcutta who probably are traveling to Italy, right? And you pay them money to build content on food, like as part of their overall trip in Italy. You pay money for food, as in, so when they go to an Italian restaurant.
How does that answer back to what we're doing?
So it answers because you want to make Italian food cool, right? And if someone is in Italy, so I'll give you.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. So looking at that content, someone will want to eat Italian food, and when they go to eat Italian food, then there's a discount.
I'll tell you, right? So classic example, I went to Greece a long time back, right? And very good food, like Greek food, amazing food, right? Now I came back to Delhi. And I actively sought out a Greek restaurant. And I don't remember the name, it was a very long time back. It was in Safdarjung or something. Right? Went there for a meal, was hugely disappointed with the quality of the food because I'd like just come back 15 days from, like I was in Greece 15 days before I went there, right? And when you're comparing like the tzatzikis here and there and you're like, okay, something is off, right? But because that association was so active, I sought out a Greek restaurant, which I would have never done. Right now, and back in the day there was no content, right? But the content has that power where if you make that cool,
for sure, absolutely.
Yeah. So what, as in now the solution to this, right? What kind of campaign thoughts would come to you? Like if this was the brief saying make Italy Italian cool, and one side you build these comms, one side you build these comms, where would you take this?
I would base the campaign
you need pen paper to write. You have to scribble.
I would base it in Calcutta only. There's a lot of Italian Western influences in Calcutta. So I don't know if I would, like, the influencer idea is a very good idea, but you could do like a very cool campaign inside Calcutta with Italian music, operatic, all of that. It's quite easy to do that in Calcutta.
Yeah. Like host an event, right? Like an authentic Italian experience, host an event or something like that, and do it for content. As in, it doesn't matter if 100 people show up. But the event should be able to generate massive content, right? Get like top content creators from Calcutta there, right? And Calcutta has this side of people being very art and history oriented. So you build those kind of legs into it, saying that talk about it.
And you think the same kind of strategy would work in the South as well?
yes, maybe yes and no, but you'll have to do a little. And South you'll have to treat very differently, right? As in there won't be a pan-South strategy. Tamil Nadu, so the 4 states in South, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka all behave very differently. Okay, brands are very different. So for example, like the category I was closest to, AP and Karnataka were brown markets, which is brown HFD markets, right? Bonvita Boost. And Tamil Nadu and Kerala
I know, we spoke about this.
were
Yeah,
white
yeah.
markets,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it's very different, right?
Yeah.
And in fact, Kerala also is a very heavy boost market. So it's very complicated that way, right? So you would have to kind of nuance this differently. Bangalore, I don't know, man. I think
Bangalore's fine.
Bangalore's fine, right?
Bangalore's not a problem.
Yeah. So Hyderabad, I don't have enough information about like what kind of
Yeah, I think we need to understand the people of the city first. Without understanding the eating out behavior.
You know what I would do? I would kind of simplify this, right? So I know that Hyderabad has a massive biryani culture. Right?
Correct.
I know that.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a very high eating out occasion. But the problem with biryani is that it's not a reserve and go occasion. It's go quickly, get it in 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Because it's that is the occasion. I would identify in the last 5 years, and I would do this across markets, right? Non-local cuisine restaurants in the last 5 years or 10 years, which are the ones which have done well historically, right? Because that will give you kind of dimensions. Like if
And
you,
what would that tell you? What would that
like the same
tell
thing,
you?
right? Like this Italian angle that we were able to craft for Calcutta. I would still pursue the same path, right? But I don't know whether it is Italian. I don't know whether it's something
Got it.
else, right?
Got it.
So the last 10 years, see the fancy restaurants which opened and which had a certain shelf life, right? Even if today they're
And do a cuisine specific campaign.
probably a cuisine specific campaign.
Enough of biryani, why don't you go try eat this?
No, forget biryani, right? I'm not competing with biryani. I'm saying that any non-biryani consumption occasion, right? Because people will not always go out and have biryani. You have to build 2 mental memory structures, right? Like I said, like if Italian food, this is it. Book via Eazydiner, that's one. Which is a high frequency awareness campaign, right? You keep bombarding the same message again and again so that people kind of it sticks in their head, right? And the second is make this cool, right? And make this cool for the TG that you want to target, right?
Yeah, make this cool is a very interesting angle.
You know what will also help if there is and
So, for example, if you start seeing sushi content everywhere, you want to eat sushi, regardless of city. And
There you
then
go.
where you go to eat sushi, that place is on Eazydiner.
like I would very actively explore.
2-prong campaign then.
Yeah, I would very actively explore Korean food in both these markets, and like Italian though could is some.
But you don't think that certain markets are susceptible to certain kinds of food and certain markets are very snooty and anti certain kinds of food?
Sure, but the restaurants will tell you, right? As in where they are eating will tell you. My suspicion is in India, there's a massive Korean food movement which is happening, right? It's also happening globally.
But for the younger population.
Yeah, but that's the eating out population, right? As in that's
No, family, the revenue comes from families.
Fair enough. So I would take, if the market is large enough, right? If this Korean food market is large enough, I would go there as well. Now, the other interesting thing is that if, let's say, you come across a certain cuisine, you could also reach out to those embassies, right? And because they have certain budgets where they invest within these countries, right? As in, it's also a relationship, right? So, for some reason, if the Italian embassy or the French embassy, right, has certain interest in building cultural relationships with India, you partner with those guys. And the event hosting suddenly changes because then you have access to people who are French and all of that, right? As in, you can build these events with them, you can collaborate with them, you can do all of that with them as well.
Yeah, but purely from a content piece, not from this is not a new acquisition piece.
Yeah, so essentially I am not doing anything offline for the sake of offline, right? I'm doing offline for the sake of creating content. As in, that's the going in principle. As in, offline is not happening there. So I would kind of do that, right? But as in, this could become interesting, right? So one, the memory structure.
Yeah, that piece on hyping up a particular cuisine, and if you want to go eat that cuisine, guess where you'll go? I mean, that restaurant is on Eazydiner.
Yeah.
That's a nice. Okay, good. This hadn't occurred to me. Thank you.
Tell me a campaign idea.
Campaign idea.
Yeah.
For
this, what would the campaign be? You want your doodle, pen, paper, which is I was asking.
No, I need time to think. I can't think of campaigns on the spot. What the fuck?
Yeah. You are on the spot. You're getting recorded. This is the moment. Too much pressure?
No, I mean, going to be shit campaigns. You think of campaigns on the spot. I don't know, man. I have to think about how to build up that quiz. That's a certain cuisine. Just bombing your feed is very interesting. How do you make that happen?
No, just think. Okay, so how do you make a cuisine bomb on your food is easy, right? You create a bunch of content and you keep like.
No, but I'm saying that it's even more interesting when that content you're seeing is not from Eazydiner at all.
Yeah, you could do that. As in,
You're just seeing You're just seeing like how many times have you seen when you're watching Netflix, Amazon Prime, and you see a certain food that's being eaten, and suddenly you think, fuck man, Zomato, open, order.
Oh, that reminds me. Mom told me to order food for her, and I've completely forgotten. So once we finish this and we go to the next one.
Where is she ordering from?
She wants to have KFC.
KFC.
Yeah, she wants to have fried chicken, and she wants to have fried chicken along with fries.
Have you told her this is not good for her?
She's my mother. She already knows this, right? And I do not interfere in these kind of decisions. But anyway, now that you have a brief, the strategy is locked in. I'm sure you'll be able to solve the creative.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, but guys, listen. If there's an interesting brief that you have, or you're struggling with a problem and you want people to brainstorm, here, this is people. We are people.
Hello.
We're happy to brainstorm. So get in touch. Drop a DM on either Instagram or YouTube or wherever.
Would you be open to calling somebody here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay.
Yeah.
So here's an idea.
Yeah, come join us.
If you have a business problem which you think we can solve, and you are open to discussing that business in public.
Yeah.
And
without an NDA. Can't be an NDA.
What NDA? This is going to be
exactly.
Yeah. So we are going to ask you questions about your business. We're going to ask you some numbers. We might ask you difficult questions to which
we might have some answers as well.
You might not have answers, right? And
we might have some answers.
We might already know the answers, but we'll still ask you those questions. But if you're open to that, give us a shout. We're happy to have you here.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for watching. Like, share, subscribe.
Comment.
Whatever.
Yeah. Bye.